Hello everybody, how's it going? Been a couple days since I've made a video. I've been very busy. My daughter, her dance team had two dances that they did, or two performances I guess they did. And last night I was helping the kids, quizzing the boys, getting ready for a final, and helping my daughter with some math homework. So, you know, they're finals week because Christmas is coming up, so they've been pretty busy. I'm out in the garage right now, just doing some basic prep work. It's going to be a very interesting weekend. Let me show you why. I have two CV joints, one left, one right. I have two wheel bearings and two tie rods, and I'm going to be doing a little work to the old Grand Prix. My goal is this weekend to get these parts installed, and then Monday I'm going to drop the car off at a garage where I have my front end alignments, you know, basic maintenance done. I'll drop the car off at that garage, and when they can get to it is fine, because I have to go to work Monday and Tuesday, but then I'm off till the following Wednesday. So they'll squeeze me in way before that. But I've told them I'm not in a hurry. Just when they have a chance, I appreciate them doing it. And for those of you who are concerned about my safety, one of my good friends at work loaned me a couple of jack stands, so that's going to help me stabilize the car. I also rented a pickle fork. And then I had to buy this because they had the 32, the 34, 35, and 36, but they didn't have the 33 millimeter sockets for rent, so I had to buy one. I've got the car pulled into the garage, and I've spread cardboard all the way under it, all the way across the car, or the width of the car. I've got cardboard laid down to kind of protect my garage floor. I kind of was a little bit farther on that side, but I've got another piece I can lay here once I get it up off the ground. What I'm going to do tonight is, of course, first thing I'm going to do is get out of these clothes, but I'm going to go ahead and get the car up in the air, get the jack stands under it. I'm going to get the two front tires removed, and then I am going to try to anticipate every tool that I'll need. I'm going to get the compressor brought into the garage, get my air ratchet, get my breaker bar, get my sockets, my hammer, my rubber mallet. I'm going to try to determine, I have a rough idea what sockets I need, but you guys saw my toolbox. It's in pretty much disarray, and I haven't sorted it out since the move. So there's going to be a little digging, and anytime you do any mechanicking at all, it seems like the worst part of the job is just finding the tools, because you'll start to do something. Oh gosh, I need a 13 millimeter. Then you got to go, you got to dig and find it, and I don't want to mess with all that stuff tomorrow. I'm going to try to anticipate and get as much of that together as I can tonight. And what I will do is I'll come back and show you guys what I have gathered up and what I've done to prep for tomorrow. And I think that's what I'll call it quits tonight, and then I'll get up early tomorrow, have a good breakfast, get out here and really get after this. So I'm going to take off for now, but I'll be back shortly and show you what I've got going for tomorrow. I'm back out in the garage, and I have gathered up everything I can think of that I might possibly need. I'm sure that there are a number of tools I will need that I don't have, but let me run you through what I got. I bought my compressor out. I've got a 50-foot hose. I've just got it laid out all the way around the other side of the car, and the idea there is I'm just going to heat the garage in the morning, and it'll give that hose time to relax so that it won't be so kinked up. I've gone ahead and bought my trouble light out, and I've got it charging. I've got another flashlight. Check the batteries. They're good. I've got my 2-ton floor jack. Got a torque wrench there, putty knife for packing grease, a couple of hammers, got some channel locks, regular pliers. I got all metric sockets because everything is metric. I got a couple of those, I'm going to call them knuckle busters, but they're the for the socket wrenches that let you kind of get in there at an angle. I've got a T50 because I think on top of the tie rod is a T50 star nut. So I got one of those. I got some socket wrenches. I got both the 1/2 inch and 3/4 drive, and I've got extensions for both of them. The one socket that I don't have, I've got everything from 10 to 17, and then I've got 19, but the one I don't have is 18. However, I've got this wrench, and it has an 18 millimeter end on it, so if I have to, I'll use that. I don't know if I need 18s or not, and I may just run up and buy one. I've got this socket wrench, which is kind of nice because it, there you go. It telescopes to kind of give you a little more torque, almost like a breaker bar. I've got several different pry bars, large, small, and I've got some of these flat ones I use for trim work in case I need to do any prying. I've got my pneumatic tools there. There's my air ratchet. The oil is inside of the case. I'll put a little oil in it tomorrow. I've gone ahead and pulled out my factory jack. I've got grease for any fittings I find, and just so you know, I will not be putting grease in the brake bleeds this time. Got a can of PB Blaster. I'll use that liberally to break everything loose. And of course, you saw all of this stuff. Now what I want to do is go ahead and get the car up in the air. I'll start by breaking the lug nuts loose on both tires, get the car jacked up, get the jack stands under it, and then we'll go ahead and get the tires removed and see what things look like. I've got the car up on the jack stands and I've got the two front wheels off. And I think I might go ahead on possibly the driver's side here and take the assembly off, the brake bracket off that has all of the brake components on it, and just get it up out of the way. I need to get some large zip ties, and I'm going to zip tie it to the strut because I don't want it to hang and damage the brake line. I want to make sure I don't crimp, pinch, or do anything to damage that at all, because I kind of need that. I'll show you a quick shot of what everything looks like, and then I'm going to do a little more tonight. Sorry that it's kind of dark out, but it is later in the evening. What I'm going to do is start by taking this the screws out of the back of this bracket that holds all the brake components, and we'll get that off of the disc, and I'll go ahead and zip tie it up here to the strut because I want to make sure that I don't crimp, kink, or damage this line in any way whatsoever, because I really need that to work. But let's go ahead and get this removed. First of what I'm sure will be many runs to the auto parts store. They sold me a 33 millimeter socket which fits the new CV joint perfectly, but the old one is a 36, I believe. I got my calipers, measured it out, and I'm going to head up to the auto parts store and pick that up. And I also noticed that my brakes are pretty bad, so I think I'm going to get a set of brake shoes while I'm under there and just, you know, go ahead and put those on too. Well, I'm back from the auto parts store, and I ended up having to buy another socket. So there's another 15 bucks that I had to spend to get the proper size, which is 35 millimeters, so that I can remove the nut on the CV joint. While I was there, I picked up some brake pads, and then he mentioned something about turning my rotors. They turn them for 10 bucks a piece, so I'm going to take the rotor off. I'm going to get up tomorrow morning. They open at 8, so I'll get up at 7, and I'll go ahead and take the brake off the other side and get the rotor off the other side, and I'll take them up and get them turned. I'm also thinking about going ahead and putting ball joints in the car because I was nervous about doing that at first, but as I got the car up off the ground, I grabbed the tire on the top and the bottom and was able to rock it, so the ball joints are shot too. The trick is I got to figure out how to get the rivets. These are the original factory ball joints, and they're riveted on, and I got to figure out how to cut those rivets. I don't have a side cutter or a grinder, an angle grinder. I may end up taking them into work and doing it at work. We've got an angle grinder there, and we've got a press so that I could press those rivets out, and then they just come with nuts and bolts to put the new ball joint back in. So holy mackerel, I feel like I'm building the entire car. I'm done for tonight. I picked up a pizza, had a couple pieces, and we're going to watch a Christmas movie with the family. Get to bed at a decent time. I'll be up at 7 tomorrow, and I'm going to get back on this, and I'll shoot some periodic video for you guys during the day. Have a great evening, and I'll see you soon.